Testing 1, 2. Good evening, everybody. How are you guys doing? Welcome to BackChat. I'm Temba Madima. I'll be your host for today. We're chatting to Rynardt van Rensburg. Rynardt van Rensburg, he'll be jumping on. James Siliga, I see you. Marley Siliga. See, the Siligas are on. John Siliga, I see you. Yeah, so we're going to go live with Rynardt van Rensburg. He'll be jumping on anytime soon now. And yeah, we're just going to have a chat. Make sure, guys, if you've got any questions, send your questions through. We're just going to have a conversation. It's going to be nice and relaxed. Koketso, I see you. Emil, Peterse. See, everybody's coming on to see what Rynardt has to say. Cliven, Scott, Ayoba. So yeah, just waiting for him to send me an invite, and then we're going to get going. Smeedy, I see you. Hope you guys are doing well. But as soon as Rynardt sends me an invite, we're going to get going. So it's going to happen soon. I hope you guys are well. Welcome to BackChat. This is BackChat. We're going to be talking all things athletics, live. Edwin, I see you, brother.
Temba Madima. How are
Rynardt
you?
van Rensburg. How you doing, brother?
Fine, you, man.
Like, I see you've got your winter gear on. Is it cold where you live there? Where are you? Are you back in the Free State?
It's cold, bro. I feel like I'm in Bloemfontein again.
Yeah, winter. I know this time of the year you usually run away to Europe, so now you must feel everything, huh?
Yeah, it's. I told other people the other day. I think it's the first time in about 8 or 9 years that I'm in South Africa now in the winter. So I think it's going to be very cold for me soon.
It's a full winter.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Since my first year out of school, I've gone to Europe this time of the year. So it's going to be actually nice to be here.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, thanks for coming on, man. I really appreciate it. Paul Horis,
No, it's
I
a
see
pleasure,
you.
man.
Lucinda. A lot of people are coming on to see what we have to chat about, and it's gonna be exciting, man. But before we get started, welcome to everybody to BackChat. We're gonna be talking to Rynardt van Rensburg. I'm gonna introduce you, man. I'm sure you're used to this a lot when you travel in Europe and stuff. But Tepo Tite, we see you. But you're gonna get an introduction from a vendor man himself. So here we go.
Thanks, man.
Introduce yourself, man. So I did a bit of research, All right, so we've got Rynardt van Rensburg. This is the African Games 800-meter bronze medalist, World University Games bronze medalist in the 800 as well, SA 800-meter champion. I like this one. SA 600-meter record holder, as well as Olympic Games semi-finalist, Rynardt van Rensburg.
It's been a lot of years.
It's a lot of years, man. So Tom, how have you been doing, man? How have you been doing, and how's things going on your side?
No, I'm good, man. I think the lockdown was a big surprise for all of us. I think we all had to adopt in our own ways. For me personally, it was a good chance to just get away from running a bit. So the first few weeks of lockdown, that was in level 5, I stopped running completely. And I think we need it sometimes, especially if you have a long season and we always train. I think sometimes we need a bit of a break from running. So for me, it was good. I've been bothered with a few niggles the last few years. So it was probably around 50 days that I took a complete rest from running. And I've been training now for 3 or 4 weeks and I'm really feeling very, very good. So for me, it was nice to relax a bit. But yeah, we're getting bored now.
I hear you. But it's good, man. It's actually the first time I'm hearing somebody talk about that approach, But I know you, and I know, obviously the niggles and challenges you've had and so on, And, I think sometimes people don't realize, sometimes, when you get niggles and so on, it's like almost you keep on chasing the season. And, I mean, I think getting a break like this is good for your body as well, and also just for your mind,
Yeah, I think there's two parts of the lockdown. I think for the athletes that was in really good shape, who was about
Yeah,
to compete now. I think for them it's frustrating and real bad. So I definitely get their side of
yeah,
the thing
yeah,
also. I mean, if you're in good shape and running good times, everything getting cancelled, it's really hard on you. But yeah, I'm in a position that I wasn't in that kind of place at the
yeah,
moment it happened. So for me it's okay. I also think for the school athletes that finished that didn't
yeah,
go to SS and stuff, it's good to rest a bit. But obviously, if you had to go to run SA schools or all of that stuff, it is a frustrating time. But yeah, I think
yeah,
sometimes you need to make the mind shift and see things
yeah.
in a positive way.
Exactly, man. Exactly, exactly. I totally agree. Okay,
And
before we get into all these other deep conversations and so on, we're gonna play a game. Let's see. Let's see how sharp your mind is. 30 seconds. I'm gonna ask you a simple question, man. So you got 30 seconds to give me an answer to this question. So, what's in your athletics bag, Rena? Competition bag. I want you to name all the things that are in there. You've got 30 seconds starting now. Let's go.
okay, it's my spikes, obviously, my ASA license number, a towel to warm up in. I think the most important one is my pre-workout. I think that's about it. I like to travel light when I'm competing, so I think that's everything.
Yo, that's it. Three
I hope I
things.
don't forget anything. I usually wear my competition clothes under my things, so I don't put my vest in there, so I don't have the opportunity to forget it.
And that's
So I think
fine.
that's about
30 seconds. Yeah, this guy.
it.
Taylor and Build named 15 things. That's the record. You named three, bruh.
Yeah, it's sprinters, bro. Sprinters is always a lot of stuff.
So tell me, man, like, uh, I spoke at the end about you running the you were having actually the SA 600-meter record. What does it mean to you? Obviously, like, you hear about records and everybody wants to run an SA record. I don't even think, even on the day, you would have thought. But like, how does it feel knowing that, in your time you do have a record? I mean, you've got many other achievements, but I just want to know what does it feel like to have like the SA 600-meter record?
Yeah, it actually came as a big surprise in 2015 when I decided to go try the 600 meters at the backtrack because I came from high altitude training in Lesotho and I usually don't want to run quick stuff usually just after the high
Yeah,
altitude training because you do the long stuff in running shoes. So I came directly to Pretoria and I spent about 2 or 3 weeks on the track. So I knew I was in good shape, but obviously distance training and fast things is not really the same. So I was actually
yeah,
privileged to have guys like you and Ranti there because obviously the pace that the people run the 600 at is important if you want to run a good time.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I think my fastest time before that was 1:16.1, which was already fast for me. I didn't really
Mm,
know if I will be able to run a 1:15. So when I ran a 1:15, I couldn't believe it because I think a 1:15.5 is a very fast 600-meter time. So then I
yeah,
knew 2015, my personal best in the 800 then was still 1:46.3. So that is the I think the moment in my career that I realized that I can achieve more than I'm putting myself at, and I don't I limit myself a bit. So I realized as soon as I ran a 1:15.5, I need to run a fast 800. And it's only a few
yeah,
months after that that I broke 1:46 for the first time when I ran a 1:45.4 in Europe.
yeah, yeah,
So I think if you run good times in training and times like that, you must know that you can run good times. And I think if you believe in yourself, it makes a big thing. So when we passed 48 on the 400, if you would have told me before the race we're going to pass 48 on the 400, I would have said I won't make it. I won't make it till 600. So yeah, I think we limit ourselves a lot. I
yeah.
think
It's
if you
true.
work hard and you train hard, you must put high goals for yourself.
No, absolutely, man. Like,
Yeah.
I think it was your first classic shootout, and I think everybody almost has the same thing. After running a classic shootout, it just opens up your mind as to what I think a lot of athletes can do. I mean, it's very early in the season, and you said you came from a camp, but after running 115, I mean, it's definite. There's a 145 absolutely in the legs. But that was an exciting race, man. And yeah, it was a brilliant
No,
time.
definitely. And I think also the years after that, I'm scared of competing now. As soon as you run good times and you have expectations of yourself, you get scared to run because of the expectations you have. And
Yeah,
when I ran there, I didn't have any expectations, so I need to get my mind. I think to back to when it was then, with no expectations, just run every race and realize that you don't really have anything to lose. You can only gain.
yeah.
And I think that's how it was that year. I just wanted to run and run as fast as I can. And I think that's how we should get back our mindset at all mine.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, we need you back at that shootout, man. That record has been
Yeah,
standing for a
no,
while.
I'll have to make a plan.
It has been standing for a while, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. All right,
Yeah.
I've got some questions. Obviously, a few people are asking questions as well. Guys, just make sure we're having a conversation here with Rena. So if you have any questions, guys, just make sure to just send your questions. We're gonna take a few, and as we continue with the conversation and so on. So make sure to send your questions. But I've got enough questions here either way, man. So I want to ask, why? Why did you choose this 800 meter, this 2-lap race? Why the 800 over all the other races?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I actually won my first cross country title when I was under 11. I was 10 years old. I won my first cross country event.
Yo,
But I think
you
I
cross
trained
country.
harder when I was, yeah, I think I trained harder than I train now. Yeah, so my dad has been coaching me. Yeah, so he really worked hard that time. And since then, I've really actually, I run 1,200 meter and youth and junior, I was still 800 and 1,500. So it was a difficult choice for me to make, but no, I think that the faster training I enjoyed more, and I
Yeah.
think I made a decision, and I had to know that if you want to run 800 at senior level and you want to run 144, 145, you need to be fast.
Mm, yeah.
So you have to work on this. You have to work on your speed. And as soon as I started working on my speed, I was not working that hard on my longer stuff, and that's when I actually decided that I will have to focus just on the 800. And I don't like the 1005, so the decision was easy for me.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, you and the 1.5, you're not best friends, but I mean, you do pack a sub 350, so I mean, it just goes to
yeah,
show
but
naturally you've got the range.
yeah. Well, my mindset is always if you can do 1,500 sessions well, you don't need to run a good 1.5. And I have
Uh,
my 1,005 sessions that I think I do well. So then
okay.
I'm not really bothered that much about the time that I run on the 1.5 itself.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool, man. And you spoke a bit about Europe, and I think it's so important, man, for those who are listening, especially if there's like the young athletes that are listening and so on. Running you running abroad, going to Europe and competing. Can you just explain like what did that do for you as an athlete from when you were running locally the whole time to going overseas and starting to experience and travel? What did that do to like your mind? Was there a mind shift that you had to do before making it the success that you were able to make it now?
Yeah, I think the thing about Europe is it opens your eyes. You see a different side of athletics. We all know in South Africa is football and rugby, and athletics is not really one of
Yeah,
the big sports there is. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
think in Europe athletics is much bigger. So that's what I really like. The vibe of the athletics and the way that people feel about athletics there is really something else. And
yeah.
that's why it's nice to go to Europe because you feel you enjoy the sport a bit more.
Mm.
And yeah, Europe is very tough. People always, when I come back from 6 or 8 weeks in Europe, they told me how was the holiday, and you know how it goes. But Europe is really, it's
It's
really a
rough.
bit more tough than it looks. Traveling is a big thing. But
Yeah.
I mean, all these years going to Europe, I've also realized that traveling is a thing in your head. You see a lot of people, and myself also. You can travel and race well. So I
Mm.
think for upcoming athletes and athletes that still have to go to Europe and who's going to have that experience, you get days where you can't believe that you're going to sit on a train now for 6, 7 hours and you have to run the next day. But
Yeah,
it's still
yeah, yeah.
possible to run well. I think if you can get that out of your head, anything's possible.
Like it's funny you say, like, when you go to Europe, like you say, everybody thinks you're on holiday. You're just traveling and seeing the world. But like the real side of it is that, man, it's obviously it's almost it's more work that side than it is running fast. I say it's easier to run fast almost at home than it is to run that side, because like you said, the traveling and so on. But like again, you mentioned the competitions um and the meetings, there are so much more well organized. You feel like it's you feel like you're appreciated for your talent and your gift, which is also nice to see.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah.
What's your favorite country to run in? You're probably gonna say Spain.
Actually, the Netherlands and the
Ah,
EPK games, obviously because I've ran
yeah,
my
yeah,
personal best time there. But the meeting itself is just amazing. The organization and the vibe of the athletics. It's like a really nice vibe. A band singing and music, and it's just a really nice vibe. So that's definitely my favorite meeting. And we also have a lot of South Africans that's always competing there. So yeah, you see everyone there, and yeah, it's really really nice.
that's like I'm gonna take some questions now. I see the guys wanna ask some questions. I'm gonna start with John Siliga, 400 meter. He says, "Who is the fastest 400 meter athlete you've ever trained with?"
Well, he's the only one I have trained that said it has to be him.
so there,
He's almost as tall as me now, so he's doing really well.
so he kills you on the short sessions. You get him on the long.
Yeah, no, he hurts me on the short stuff. If you want to get back to earth, you must go do speed sessions with 400 athletes.
All right, we're gonna take another one. There's a lot of questions coming in. Is it Quacks? Quacks 738 says, "How do you keep motivated?"
Yeah, that's a difficult question. I think a lot of people want to know how do you keep motivated, but I think
Yeah,
short-term goals is very important. I think you need to have stepping stones towards the big goals that you want to make,
yeah,
and I always say that you have to look at it day by day with athletics. That's the most important thing is make sure that today I'm going to give my best on the track, and when I train, I do everything I have. And yeah, if you only focus on the long-term stuff, it's difficult to stay motivated, especially if it's not going well. And I think
yeah,
the tough thing about athletics is if you really know athletics, you would know that 80% of the time it's not going well and 20% of the time it is going well. You can't run a personal best time every
yeah,
single weekend. So you run a personal best time, you're happy for 1 or 2 days and you start working again towards the next. So yeah, it's difficult. Athletics is hard, so you have to find ways that makes it fun for you. I think when I was younger, I didn't enjoy training a lot. It was very stressful for me. And as I got a bit older, I realized that you need to enjoy what you do. You must make training
yeah,
fun and you must enjoy everything while training hard and be serious. You must find the love and the fun in the sport because it's
yeah,
mostly really hard and tough.
yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think.
Yes, yeah, that's a brilliant. Did you write that answer down somewhere?
No experience. If you're as old
Nah.
as me, you know this stuff.
That's a good answer, man. That's a very good answer. Athletic for Amo says, Rini, who do you think is the best 800 meter of all time? I've got an answer
Well,
to that, but you can tell me.
well, it has to be David Rudisha. Obviously, he's the world record holder.
Of course.
A very very special moment in my career is when I ran the Olympic Games heat with David Rudisha, and that was just unbelievable standing next to him and
Yes.
realizing you're literally running against the best in the world now. Because that was in 2012 we ran the world record, and I ran the
Yeah.
next Olympics with him. So I was actually standing there the evening before the Olympic Games. The heats come out. So there's 8 guys in the heat. So I see my time's about six in the heat, and I call my dad, who's my coach, and I tell him, "Yeah, we have problems. I'm six in the heat. I'm gonna have to go for fastest loser because I also had Clayton Murphy in my heat, who won the
Oh
bronze
yeah.
medal that
Yeah.
with
Yeah. Yeah.
Rudisha winning. And I think the top three guys go through. So as I was standing at the starting line of the heats, I looked at David Rudisha and I thought, I know exactly how he runs. He goes out in the
Mm,
heats in front and he keeps away from any problems. So I thought the perfect position to run your heat is to run behind him.
mm,
So I was lucky enough to get a position behind him, and I just stick with him in the entire race. And yeah, it's a bit demotivating to see the way how relaxed he runs when you're running as hard as you can. But I mean, just running with him was special. And I finished my heat second just after him. And he came to me after my heat and told me, good race. So I have a lot of respect for him. He's a very humble athlete. And obviously, the way he ran when he was in his prime of his career, running hard from the start till the end, I just have
Yeah,
so much respect for him. And by far, he's for me the best 800 athlete ever.
amazing, man. I'm gonna take another one. Smitty says, if you could train with anyone in the world for one session, who would that be? One session. One session.
It's
Who
a
would it be?
difficult one. I wouldn't train with someone who runs 140 because I don't think it will help me a lot. So I'll train with someone that runs fast, but we will be able to train it. I think it would be nice training with Adam Kajot from Poland.
Oh
I
yeah,
saw some of his sessions; he's a lot like mine.
yeah,
So yeah, when I'm obviously in my prime shape, I think it would be good training with a guy like him. But yeah, that's a difficult question. I think if
yeah.
I'm going to think of other guys that maybe would have been better to train with now if I'm done answering the question.
All right, I'm gonna take another one. It says, Rini, when are you back in the Netherlands? You come to Hilversum and give a clinic to Shanae and her team.
Yeah, we have. I think our South African athletes has nice friends that we made over Europe in the past few years. So it's always nice seeing that and talking to the people from there and the people that appreciate us running. So yeah, obviously I would have probably been in the Netherlands today if it wasn't for the whole virus situation.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, hopefully next year if everything goes well, we'll definitely be there.
Yeah, man. You know, like I've got a lot of respect for you, man, because like if I must look at the 800-meter runners over the past let's call it 6 to 7 years or so, like I always say you're probably like one of the best like racers of the eight. You like if there's an 800-meter athlete, if an 800-meter athlete, you're probably the guy that always tactically aware. I mean, just tell us. I mean, when it comes to like titles and let's call it medaling at essays, you've probably medaled. Can you just explain that? I know you know it very well. You've probably medaled at almost every essay championship you ran in over the past how many years? It just goes to again show that tactically and 800-meter wise, I don't think there's anybody at the moment in SA who has a better 800 mind than you have. So I mean, I respect that, and I think a lot of athletes can really learn from you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it a lot, man. It's been the past 8 years that I've won a medal at SA Champs. So
Jesus.
since 2012, I've been on the podium at SA Champs. So yes, it is a long time. I remember 2012 is where I ran my 146.3. That was my personal best for a few years. I remember Malachi won that 800 race. So it was also a big thing for me running with him because he was obviously an idol of mine growing up.
Yeah.
My brother used to run with me, and I remember he in his room when Malachi won world champs. The next day in the paper, the main opscript was King of the 800, and we cut that out and put it in our rooms. So since I was small, there was King of 800 with a photo of Malachi next to it. So it was good running
Yes.
with him. But yeah, since 2012, I've been on the podium. Since this year, I've only won once, which is obviously not nice for me. But yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
consistently over the last 8 years, getting on the podium is a really big thing for me. Um, I always say that I always show up at SS and I'll always be there. That's the main thing for me. It doesn't matter what shape I'm in. And yeah, I think also with experience, it helps a lot. Tactical running plays a big role when you have to run each semis and the final.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, I think that helps me that I've been running for a few years now.
Yes, it's amazing, man. And yeah, obviously it's hard work, and the 800-meter is like I think it's always been a special event in South Africa, because if you look at just international medals, I don't think there's an individual event that has won more medals than the 800. When you look at I mean, Sepeng and Mrauzi both got silver at Olympics. We've got we've got gold medals at World Championships, and then Casta Semenya, obviously, she dominated as well on that other side. What do you think? Do you think that there can be more done to develop this sport to get it back to um, um, winning gold medals and medals at championships. What do you think can be done?
Yeah, yes, the 800 has been really, really good in the past. As you mentioned, Ezekiel and Malachi, obviously on top of that, they've been in the best in the world, I think, at times. And I think Andre Olivier was
Yeah,
also a
Andre.
really good, consistent athlete. I think he was very unlucky with injuries.
Yeah,
When I started running well, I was running with him, and I have a lot of respect for him. He was a real good athlete.
yeah,
But yes, I think so. We saw Tsepo running 144 now, and he's also consistently running good times. I think it's good to have someone like that. You need a bit of competition in running to make you to level up yourself also.
mm-hmm.
So yeah, we have been the last few years not have 800 athletes on top of that level, but yeah, I think it will come again. I
Yeah,
think it's a matter of time. I also think for the first time in a few years, we've seen the juniors and youth athletes really running fast times.
yeah,
As we saw George and Tians that time, since they've been
yeah,
running under 150 in school, everyone has been doing it. I mean, I didn't even run under 150 when I was matric, so
yeah.
it was good to see them doing it. And yeah, there's now a lot of juniors that's really looking good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I personally believe, man, it's within the next year or two, the 800-meter. I think it's one of those because I think South Africans also have a way of racing that works for championships. I think it's just the way we
Yeah.
train and all that. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in the next year or two. Obviously, next year with Olympics, it will be a start. Hopefully, a start for of a new era.
Yeah, no, definitely. I see Athletic for Almal also being involved with training at high school level. Who do you see as a top and upcoming junior 800 in South Africa? So I'll somehow answer that while we're on that subject. It's difficult to name people because you're always going to miss athletes that is good and deserves
Yeah.
being named. But yes, we definitely have Christopher. That first year is running good. I don't know. Edmonds from
Yeah.
Office ran 47, I
Mm.
think, the other day. So yes, there's definitely the two of them looks really, really set for the future. So I think the most important thing if you run that fast, that young, is to have patience. And if I
Mm.
can tell to anyone any advice, it's to have patience. And if you run a fast time, you always want more, and you always think it's going to come next, but it maybe take months, even years. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of junior athletes that's looking good, and I'm also excited to be part of the coaching now in Pretoria. I think
Yeah.
Pretoria
Yeah.
school athletics is really healthy and very good. I
Mm.
used to coach in Bloemfontein for a few years, but yeah, now being in Victoria, I really enjoy the coaching. I enjoy the competitive vibe at school athletics.
It's competitive, huh?
Yes, no, yeah, it's crazy, but it's so nice, and hopefully I can get a few talented athletes that can win SA medals in the coming years.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So it is always exciting times. And I was thinking of, when you were talking about what is it? When you're talking about the juniors and being patient, there must have been. Do you ever look back, man? Do you ever look back and be like, the day I ran that PB, or when I ran this PB, or when I ran this time? Do you ever think back to like, maybe I should have enjoyed that moment more? I should have celebrated more. Like, I think what advice would you give to like the young athletes when they are, when they get to run their PBs and so on? How should they embrace those moments?
Yeah, I think that's really important. I've said it so many times in my life, and you only realize it when you get older that you need to embrace all the situations. I definitely didn't enjoy athletics enough when I was younger. I always tell people I ran World Student Games 2015 where I won the bronze medal, and they give you the flag to jog around the track. And I had the fastest time of everyone at the World Student Games that year. And I was so disappointed in coming third. I just walked off the track because I didn't
Yeah,
feel like it was
it was
not
a
a good
close finish.
example at all. Yeah, I didn't feel like jogging around the track because I was very disappointed in myself. And yes, I regret that because at the
Yeah,
end of the day, a medal at a championship like that is a major thing, and you need to enjoy it. So
yeah,
as I
yeah,
said, athletics is going from bad races to your personal best. So
yeah, yeah,
it doesn't help if you don't run as good as you can to be sorry or angry and sad for too long.
yeah,
Obviously, you're not going to be happy, but take it on the chin and go on and look forward to the next one because you can't run a best time every time you run. So you need to go. I always tell the people you need to go through all your bad races to get your
Yeah,
better one. That's how it works in athletics.
absolutely, man. I see there's another question here. It says, how keen are you and George Bush to race against each other? Sensing a bromance there.
Yeah, it depends on what event. I won't take George on a 1,500. He's really talented and really well. But yeah, I also think you shouldn't take me on 800. So,
Ayoba.
and that's why.
Pa, 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 pa,
That's
pa.
yeah, because our main events differ. I think it's good for us to get along, and yeah, I've got to know George and we're good friends over the past few years. We feel the
Yeah,
same about a lot of stuff. So yeah, I'm really glad for the success that he's making in the US also at the moment.
yeah.
So yeah.
Big up Georgie, the Nebraska King. Huh? I've got another question, man. F-Ski, I really respect what you and your dad have done with the F-Ski mile, as well as, going for the training camp in F-Ski. So how did that come about? What made you guys, it is the highest mile in Africa, and also you guys usually spend a few days there. What's your reason? How did this come about? The F-Ski, the whole F-Ski expedition.
Yeah, so the first time I went to Afriski, I was in matric.
Yeah.
I think it was just after my matric exams. John Verster was there. So actually, the whole Afriski thing, John Verster started with the Porch athlete. He
Okay.
had a French guy, Florent, there. I think his personal best is about 143. So that's the first time we went there. And then
Mm.
after that, I didn't go again. So we know a guy, Wessel Bosman, who was the 110 SA record holder. And
Yeah.
he's there at Afriski. So we organize a training camp with him every year. So Afriski is 3,000 meters above sea level. So that's really very, very
Jeez.
high. And there's a lot of people that has also been telling me that you can't train hard that high. But yeah, they are more willing to come and see how we train there. We train there. We don't play around there. So it is difficult. It is hard. But obviously that's the only way you can get to the top. So for me, Afiski is a very special place. I've been going there for 4 or 5 years now, and except for the altitude and the good training that you get there, for me, it's really a time to get away from everything, to get away from your
Yeah.
busy life, and to get
Yeah. Yeah.
distracted from everything. You wake up in the morning, you go for a run, you rest and eat, and then you train again. So that's what I like about Afriskis. You can focus just on your running for a few weeks.
Yeah. I see Anaso says Anaso Jobodana is like he's lying. He says you play all day. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, I've seen Anasu in Europe. That guy, he has all the talent in the world. So he just looks at the track and he gets motivation from the track, and he goes to run meetings. So I don't have that talent on also, unfortunately. I have to work very hard to get somewhere.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
even hey
it's,
Anas Kurt Kuto, we see you, brother. No, but yeah, this athletics thing, man, it's always interesting. So obviously athletics is currently almost closed down, but the Inga Brixtons have been busy. Um, so I think there's a race tonight. You said there's a race. Is there a race tonight? Yeah.
yeah, the race is at 8 tonight. Luckily, otherwise I would have missed this because yeah, it's been so long since we've been able to watch athletics. So the Inga Britons have a team of three guys, which is the three brothers, competing against the chariots from Kenya. So if I understand correctly, I haven't read too much about it. They run in Nairobi, the Kenyans, and the Inga Britton brothers
Oh,
in Oslo. So it's two
okay.
separate meetings that they will start at the same time. And you will see they will split the screen in two, and
Mm,
then you will see the exact splits of all the teams running, and they will take the three combined times to decide who's the winner. So that's really interesting. I think it's going to be fun to watch. I think the main guy for the Ingebrigtsens is Jakob, the younger
yeah, of
one,
course.
obviously.
Hey, that guy was.
Obviously for it's Timothy Chariot for the Kenyans, because that
Of
guy has
course.
been phenomenal
Yee.
last year. There was
Yeah,
no
yeah.
stopping him at all. He only lost one race the entire year. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting. I think there's a few other events also. But yeah,
Mm.
that's at 8 to 9, so it's going to be really nice to watch.
Hey, that's cool. Yeah, 8 o'clock. Tshegofatso, Moahu. It's gonna
Yeah, I
be
think
at
it is on Super Sport
8
1.
o'clock.
If you don't have, yeah, if you don't have DSTV, I think they're putting a live stream link on YouTube also.
Okay, super. No, that's gonna be. I think we should do the same thing in South Africa, and maybe South Africa versus America. We put the camera on Anaso while he does 200 there, and we put one here on one of the guys here in SA. It could be a good idea for a new concept. George Kushka is also maybe keen on running a race as well, so we can get that
And
going.
also must just start training first, and then we can organize something like that. But I see all the hurdle athletes is going crazy now here in the comments about the. I forgot about Carsten's Valom attempting
Oh, the
the
300
300-meter
meter.
world record tonight. Yeah, that's also
Yeah.
happening. That would be also a very good race to watch. I think the 2,000-meter world record will not go because it's been held by Igam Elgarouche. I think he
Yee.
passed 3:51 on the mile and then ran his last lap 55 or something.
No,
But yeah, Carlton's 300-meter hurdles will be very good to watch. That would be very interesting to see if he can run the world record.
All right, no, that's cool. That's cool. Yo, it's gonna be interesting. It's interesting times we
Yeah,
live in, brother. Huh? Who would have thought?
yeah, no, definitely.
Who would have thought? All right, now let's keep it simple. Now, like motivation wise, you said what motivates you? What music do you listen to, man? Before are you listening to heavy metal before your races, or what gets you psyched up?
Yes, I have a wide range of music. I don't really have certain type of music. So yeah,
Okay.
anything motivational works for me. But yeah, I've given a lot of motivation life lessons, I think, throughout our video calls. I think everyone got a bit of motivation.
All right, man. All right, and we're gonna wrap it up soon. I just want to see if we're gonna get any more questions, but I've got maybe another two questions to ask. I see the guys are telling us. Sorry about the guys are telling us about the races abroad. I think Athletic also asked one more here. Mm, okay, I think that should be fine. Yeah, we've answered everything about the coaching as well. Yeah, I wanted to speak. You didn't get to the actual the mile. We didn't get to the highest mile, obviously in
Oh
Africa.
yeah, that's true.
That's what I
Yeah,
wanted to see.
besides for the training camp, we decided to have a street mile at Afriski every year. So every year there's a street mile, December of January, about a week before the school starts. And yeah, that's really a special thing. So the athletes can decide if they want to go just for the weekend for a week and do a training camp there. JJ has been
Yeah,
supporting us well with the training camp. He takes his
yeah,
athletes there, and it's really nice to just be there, and you have to see for yourself what it's like, man.
yeah.
You won't run a mile in your life on 3,000 meters above
It's
sea
tough,
level.
man.
It's good to go and test yourself. You would know since you've been winning most of them the last few years. So yeah, if anyone is interested in the mile at Ski, they can send me a message. We market it a little bit. I think we will work a bit with Backtrack this year to market
Yeah,
it
yeah,
really well, and maybe find some sponsors. It's been difficult to finding some sponsors. I think
yeah,
financially everyone it's a difficult time.
yeah,
And
yeah,
to get people there is also not an easy thing. So it's more for the running community and just to take your athletes to see something else. So yeah, the
yeah,
mile is really nice. It's at the end of the camp, 1,609 meters. It's a straight road. So yeah, it's really nice. It's a
yeah.
nice
Absolutely.
experience.
Absolutely. I think it's a brilliant idea, man. And like at Backtrack, we're always like excited about something new and exciting, something that's not being done. If it's abnormal, man, but it allows people to run very fast, we're always interested in that. I see Thomas
Um,
Blucher says, what are the biggest differences in your training? Biggest differences.
differences differences in my training or
Yeah, I think he says it in your training? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'm the best example for an 800 athlete, really, because I have my own ways that I like to train. Me and my dad have our own ideas for training. I see Donnie also asked what is the most important thing for you in the off season. So also may compare do that questions together. And yeah, I do not do a lot of miles, but I think for certain athletes like George, it's important to do a lot of distance and to get the miles in because it makes them strong. For me, I'm very injury prone, so distance gives me niggles.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
don't do too much distance. I keep it to the hard and shorter stuff mostly. Although I want to do a good off season this year. But yeah, I
yeah,
think off season work for most of the distance athletes is more or less the same. It's
yeah,
about getting fit and doing the hard stuff. I think the difficult stuff like thousands and 2Ks and all this stuff that we fast 800 athletes don't like
yeah,
is important for in the off season. So yeah, it's about getting strong and obviously in season is where you need to know what you do. I think in season is what makes the difference. Working on your speed endurance and all those kind of stuff.
yeah. All right. Thanks, man. I see Coach Bota is also watching, and yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up, man. Thanks a lot for your time. I know you wanna get ready
Yeah,
for.
no, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity, and I hope you and everyone watching has a nice lockdown further, and hopefully we can all start training soon.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate your time. You've got an amazing story, man, and I know it's not finished yet. You still got so many good years in front of you, you know. So keep working. We need to keep the 800-meter race alive, man. Keep inspiring, coaching young athletes, organizing races. All these things are so important, man, in creating a culture where people will continue to just fall in love with athletics, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, thank you. And yeah, next year I'll be there. I think next year will be a good year again for me, and hopefully we can all be successful in what we do.
Absolutely. Thanks for everybody for tuning in to
Cool.
BackChat. We really appreciate it, guys. Thanks for your questions and everybody who contributed to today's topic. I see Free State was out in their numbers to support, as well as people from all over the world. We appreciate it, guys. Backchat, Rynardt, the superstar. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Tembo.
Hopefully, tomorrow we've got another speaker, so stay tuned. We're going to go with a bit of a distance runner tomorrow, so you guys can watch that as well. Thanks a lot. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks. Enjoy evening. Enjoy the athletics.
We'll do so. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in to Backchat. We had Rynardt van Rensburg, 800-meter sensation. Thanks for watching. We're going to close it here. Tomorrow we're back again, so keep a lookout. We're also going to put out stats tonight with the 100 meters. We're looking at the 100-meter top rankings, so we're going to be putting that out later tonight at around about 8:30. Look out for that as well. Take care. Sayonara. Tobela.